Dr. Edgar Hernandez, and he has written his third book, Miguel Hernandez Mystic, and it's about his oldest brother, and there's a connection to the Navajo. Can you share that?
Yes, John. It's one of the most memorable things in my life as a child because, as I said before, I lived with my brother Miguel when I came here in 1959, and when I walked into this jewelry shop, I saw 15 to 17 gentlemen. They were all Native Americans, they were Navajos, and I heard that language of uniqueness that still stays in my mind. They were Navajo Indians. And so you probably recall that my half-brother Miguel was a silversmith. And he was actually, in a sense, recruited by the Lemberts, the owners of the jewelry shop in Nogales. Well, they were impressed so much about his gold, silver, and turquoise combinations, and that was very different than the Navajo Indians because they used nothing but silver and turquoise. So he was the first one we think by record, that started using gold incorporated to silver and turquoise. For all these years, he became very fluent in Navajo. And some people think that Miguel was just kind of like doing gibberish, but the Navajos would say, "Oh no, his Navajo is perfect. It's flawless." And he talks like an angel in Navajo, and with all the movements of the spirit, they said, basically it sounds like music when Miguel Hernandez speaks Navajo. And so it's one of those memorable things in my life. And so I incorporated one of the chapters here, in fact, probably two of them, with some of the Navajo language into it, incorporated with English. It was one of the most difficult parts writing this book because although when I was very young, I could speak some Navajo and I could understand it, but after so many years, you lose it because it's one of the most difficult languages to learn and to speak. And I don't know if you know this, but 80% of the Navajos that speak fluent Navajo cannot read or write it. And that my half-brother Miguel was a perfect example of that. He could speak it, but he couldn't write it or read it. And as it is also in many Mexican people here that we know, including some of my family members, including my mother, they could speak Spanish, but they couldn't read or write it. In fact, my mother couldn't write or read Spanish, but guess what? Before she died, at the age of 92, she was able to not just read English, but also Spanish and write both of them. She learned it by reading the Bible for almost 40 years.
Wow. Now, Miguel, what influence did he have on you? What are the lessons that you take from him?
He taught me one thing. He taught me to be generous, and this is what he would say to me, and I can still tell you right now. He said, "Edgar, we are here for a reason, and living a long, long time is not a reason to be here, but to do something very important and unique in life that counts." Furthermore, he would say there are thousands of people all around us that live in lavish riches and fame with all the means, yet they don't savor that wonderful satisfaction of doing something for somebody else other than for themselves. So he always would tell me, challenge yourself no matter what you do. You be a surgeon, challenge yourself not to be just a great technician, but to be generous, to be kind, to be humble, and to show that you care with his patients. And I always took that with me, no matter where I went, no matter what hospital I went to, what patients. So I always remember that, is to be kind and gentle with his patients. And that's what I received from my brother Miguel Hernandez. I think that the uniqueness of this is that this is the man that gave me my future. And so it has a very specific and beautiful meaning. And so I don't quarrel with the idea that it's a better book for the reader. I kind of tend to agree with them because it's the person that gave me my life. I'm here because of him.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your talents, both in an operating room and with patients across the valley and the country, and your talents for writing and sharing these important stories. And we look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
Thank you so much, John. Look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Thank you again.